Well, death can be an often difficult and somewhat taboo topic. A lot of emotion, a lot of pain. And imagine, if you will, you had your child in your arms dying at birth. That would be a seemingly insurmountable challenge. But our next guest has not only overcome that, but is bravely talking about it in public and has written about that story in hopes of inspiring others to overcome their concerns, their pain. Alexis Marie Chute joins us right now. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here.
So let's talk about your journey, one that you refer to with the book here, A Journey of Grief, Healing, and Pregnancy.
Yeah, so I think every mother, every woman, as soon as she gets pregnant, it's this instant vision of what her family life is going to be like. And, you know, picture camping and Disneyland trips and caps and gowns. So it's sort of, you've already given birth to the child in your heart in a way. And so when that doesn't pan out, it can be a devastating loss. And it's experienced by so many people, which is just not talked about, unfortunately.
So we're talking about your son, Zachary.
Yeah.
Obviously passing away far too young. What was it like? What was the initial gamut of emotions that you ran through?
Oh man, so the first thing was shock. And I talked to so many bereaved parents, and they say the first days are a blur. You're living in this alternate reality. You were supposed to be going home with a baby in your arms, and you have nothing. And for some women, their milk is coming in. And so it's like, it's a state of confusion and often guilt and shame, asking questions like, why did this happen to me? What could I have done differently? What did I do wrong? All these things that, you know, you just, you carry in a really private way, because often there's no support and people don't know how to talk about it.
Certainly for you, one of your outlets to talk about it is right here in your hands. How did you decide that this was the way that perhaps you wanted to channel that energy? You
know, at first, I distracted myself from my grief. I call it my year of distraction. Okay. I spent an entire year avoiding feeling the raw emotions. Mm-hmm. And as an artist and a writer by trait and profession, it was funny because I didn't write and I didn't paint and I avoided those things. And it was only when I got pregnant again and I realized if I don't deal with this grief, it's going to stay clung to me for the rest of my life. And I don't want to have that be the parent I am to my living children, or the wife to my husband, or the human being in this world. I want to be as happy and whole as I can, right? That's when I started to write this book, and that's when I started to make art that dealt with loss, and also, more importantly, the resiliency of the human spirit, the desire to get up out of bed each day and put your pants on one leg at a time and to live. I think that desire in people to be happy and to find joy is so important, and that's what kept me going, that hunger for feeling those feelings.
Well, you're definitely the embodiment of resiliency. It shows right now, absolutely. The book itself, I know certainly that's obviously the overarching narrative of what's happening here, but what would you say that the key themes, the things that you're hoping to get people maybe trying to create awareness with respect to this?
Yeah, I would love people to know that they're not alone. I would love people to know that they don't have to grieve in a certain way or for a certain length of time, either short or long. It's going to look different from person to person. And I really hope that by being vulnerable with my own experience, maybe those who support bereaved parents, both moms and dads, will feel better equipped to know maybe what to say, what not to say. Like, for example, just to bring a meal can be one of the most helpful and sustaining gestures of support after a loss of any kind.
And I guess we'd be remiss not to ask, obviously this is certainly one of the ways that you've chosen, one of the paths that you've chosen to kind of pursue your healing. How are you coming along? How are you coping now?
How am I coping? Well, they say, you know, time doesn't heal, and that's true. I think time does help. So I'm not raw and broken anymore. I do feel like I've found a new joy and passion for life. And yeah, like I feel that I appreciate things more deeply, and I love, you know, my family and those in my life more intensely. And I do feel that there is light and hope at the end of the tunnel.
And I think that you're imparting this message on a lot of people, and I suspect they've been very receptive to what you're putting out there.
Absolutely. I was just at the Edmonton Women's Show, and I had people come up immediately. There were some that were tentative about the topic, but there were some that walked up immediately and said, this is for me. Like, I've experienced a loss. I haven't told anyone about it even. But, you know, like just sharing stories between people, I find that that's incredibly healing. And that's really what I hope to encourage with this book.
And that's the thing, because we were talking about this, right? The notion that it still feels like a bit of a taboo topic, that, you know, people might be disinclined to even make eye contact, right?
Yes. I had many people look, read the book cover, and then, ooh, like scoot away. But I understand that. And it's the culture that we've grown up in. We say, I'm so sorry for your loss, and oh, at least the person's lived a long life. But as soon as that's in the context of a child, whoa, it's like people don't know what to say, right?
Well, there you go. Of course, the book is Expecting Sunshine, A Journey of Grief, Healing, and Pregnancy After Loss. It is definitely on the bookshelf right now.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Appreciate you coming in
thank you
and sharing your story. Very brave.
I appreciate being here. Thank you.
All right.